Jai Gurudev. Jai Masters. The more you live, the more you grow, the more you pay attention, which isn't easy because there's a lot of distractions, the more you come to see that the most important thing in your life is consciousness. If something in front of you that you're conscious of goes away, you know it. If something else appears, you know it. If your consciousness goes away, there's nothing left. You are your consciousness. Your consciousness is what is experiencing, your awareness is what is experiencing your entire life. Many things go on in life, but it's always you who's experiencing them. That's not philosophy, that's reality. The most important thing in your entire life is not your husband or wife or children. If you were not conscious, you would not know they were there. It is your consciousness, your awareness of being. Though they don't tell you that, almost no one knows anything about consciousness. If you ask the neuroscientists, they will explain to you how the brain got more and more complicated through evolution and eventually became so complex, the neural pathways became so complex that consciousness happened. They don't know that. No one's proven that. It's just extrapolating the fact that, it got more complicated, and so finally there's self-awareness, right? The only ones who really know about consciousness are the ones who have studied consciousness. What does that mean? Tag, you're it. You're the one who's conscious. Have you studied the source of your consciousness? I just said to you the deepest thing that will ever get said to you. You're in there, or you're not? Hi. You in there? Okay. Where? You know that you know that you know that you are. I am that I am. You know you exist. Why can't awareness of being contemplate the source of awareness of being? Because otherwise your awareness, your consciousness, is looking outside into form and trying to find itself. That's like trying to find yourself in the mirror. It ain't never going to happen. You are the one who is reflecting in the mirror. You are the consciousness, the awareness of being that is aware that there's a brain out there. You are more important than the brain. Why? The brain can't see you, but you see the brain. Or even inside. Let's talk about that. This is the most important discussion you will ever have. It is the solution to every single problem you ever have in life and to every question you will ever ask, including metaphysical ones. You are conscious. You know that you are conscious. If you are looking outside yourself to find yourself, you are looking in the wrong direction. That's why Christ said the kingdom is within you. The words are literal. The kingdom is within you. That is what Buddha taught. That is what Christ taught. So consciousness is the beginning and end of your life. If you lose it, there is no life. If you have it, it's just a question of what you're conscious of. There are lots of things to be conscious of, are there not? There are just millions and billions of them. But there's only one consciousness. You are the one that is aware of everything that ever happened to you. I was going to say, what about your thoughts? Are you aware that you have thoughts? Or when I say the word thoughts, you have no idea what I'm talking about? Thoughts are things. They're things you have. They go on inside your head. I wonder if I understand this. That's a thought. God, did I leave the stove on? That's a thought. I wonder where she is. Hope she's okay. That's a thought. It doesn't matter how personal it is or how impersonal it is. I wonder what her name was. Why can't I remember? That's a thought. And then all of a sudden, oh, Judy, that's a thought. All right? There are these thoughts that pop up in your head. How do you know? How do you know you have thoughts? These are perfectly reasonable questions. You know that you have thoughts because you are the one that is experiencing the thoughts. If I tell you to visualize a boat, see a boat inside, a bigger boat, Queen Mary, you see it. Who sees it? Is it the same you who sees the boat in your head as who looks out through your eyes? Or is there like separate consciousness? They don't know each other. There's only one of you. You're whole. It's so deep that I can't even begin to tell you. In the Bible, Christ said, if thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be filled of light. If thy eye be dual, how great is the darkness within you. Someday you will understand that he's talking about your consciousness. If you are centered in the core of your being, you're not divided. Yes, there are emotions that might even conflict, but you are the one who sees them. You are aware that one moment you really love somebody, the next moment you're afraid. You don't know if you want to get involved. One time your thoughts say you like something, your emotion feels like you're attracted toward it. And then another time it changes, it's mine. Do you ever change your mind? How do you know? Because it's the same you that was there when you had this thought, then you had that thought. The thoughts change. You don't. You are the one who sees the thoughts. The emotions change. You don't. It's the same you who experiences the emotions. Now, without thinking, because that'll just be you watching your thoughts. I don't care what your thoughts think. I care about you, the intuitive experience, all right? Were you in there last week, noticing what was going on inside and outside? Say yes. Were you in there when you were 10 years old? Whoa, that's kind of neat. Were you in there? Were the same thoughts popping up in your mind when you were 10 as pop in now? But you saw those thoughts, didn't you? You saw a 10-year-old's thoughts. When you go back to some place when you were little, sometimes it seems so small. Because when you saw it last, the experience was it was big. You don't have to remember it. It's not a thought that does that for you. It is that you were experiencing it. You were the one that was in there. Were you not? So how old are you then? Don't answer. You start to understand that you are the awareness of being that is watching your thoughts and has always been watching your thoughts. That has been feeling your emotions and has always been feeling your emotions. That has been looking out through your eyes and seeing what's there. What's there changes. You're still the same being seeing it. What if we get a little bit deeper? If I lose you, tell me. Do any of you go to sleep at night and have dreams? Do any of you have dreams at night? How do you know? You have no idea how deep that question is. How do you know that you have dreams? You're asleep. I don't understand. Okay? Because you're in there. And your mind, the very same mind that creates your thoughts during the day, is creating your dreams at night. Is it not? Who's seeing the dreams? Somebody is. You're having the experience of the dream, are you not? You can get scared. Emotions happen in dreams too, don't they? Thoughts happen in dreams. I want to know one thing. The dream is being created and someone's watching it. Someone's aware that a dream is going on. When you wake up, are you aware that you dreamt? Do you sit there and say, oh my God, I had this unbelievable dream last night? Is that the same you who's looking out through your eyes right now? Same you. It's not like a dreaming you and a not dreaming you. There is one continuous, unbroken stream of consciousness. And it has been there since you were little. You have looked out through the eyes. You have watched the thoughts. It is there when you go to sleep. And you wake up. It is obviously you who had the dream. Okay, I'm talking to you. No one talks to you. The real you. What do you want to call you? They've struggled with that for millenniums. The self, the Atman, the soul, the core, the essence. They're just trying to talk about you. I just call it you. You know, I got a computer background, so I call it the end user. Is it not the end user? When it's all said and done, that's the one that receives all the messages. That's the one that watches the dream. That's the one. Okay? To finish the conversation, there's a very deep yogic scripture called the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali that actually talks about this sort of stuff, written a very long time ago. And he says that you're always conscious, that there's never a moment that you're not conscious. Even in deep sleep, when there are no dreams, do you ever wake up and somebody says, did you dream last night? You say, no. No, I didn't. How do you know? Or, no, I had such a deep sleep. I didn't have any dreams. Oh, I went so deep. How do you know? And what Patanjali says is, when you go into deep, dreamless sleep, it is not that you're not conscious. You're conscious of nothing. You understand that? If something's in front of me, I see it. If nothing's in front of me, I'm aware of that. Isn't it neat to talk like this? Nobody will do it, all right? No one's willing to let you know what you know more than anything in the whole world. You. That is your true self. You understand? All of religion and all of spirituality is about self-realization. All of it. Christian, Jewish, the Kabbalah, mystical Christianity, Buddhism, Zen Buddhism, Hindu, yoga, every single thing is about you that's in there. It's not about the rituals. They do the rituals. It's not about the rituals. It's not about the books. Oh, you read the books. It's about you. It's about knowing who you are. Yogananda called it self-realization. See why? Because you're busy not being you. I mean, you don't even pay attention that you're in there. You're too busy with your thoughts. You're too busy with your emotions. We'll talk about that in a minute. So the essence of the core of your being, your soul, that's what that means, soul, the core, the essence, that which has always been there and is looking out, is the experience of self. So what's going on? What's going on is thoughts get created in the mind and you are aware of them. Well, that's a problem. Why? Because you're way too aware of them. All right? If I walk into a home, and it's a beautiful home, a mansion, and there's a TV on in the corner, and I see that there's a chair, there's a TV, there's a person, there's music, there's lots of things going on in the home. But what if I pay too much attention to the TV? What if what's on that TV really interests you? It really interests you. All of a sudden, you're paying a little too much attention to the TV and no attention to the architecture, the party going on, the people in the room. Can you pay so much attention to what's going on the TV that you miss everything else? Yes or no? You do it every time you go into a movie theater. Hopefully, if the movie's any good, you don't know you're sitting there inside of a theater for 2 hours. Your consciousness is completely absorbed in what it's paying attention to. So now we've centered on consciousness, at least theoretically, that you're in there and you're aware of what's in front of you and inside of you. Now what happens is consciousness is aware of what's in front of it. It has the ability of focusing. It can either be broad, like a broad beam of a flashlight, I'm aware of everything that's there, or I only see her nose. Can it do that? It can concentrate. That's what we use the word, concentrate. It can focus in on something. If you focus in on that TV, there is nothing else in your life. You don't have children, you don't have a husband or wife, you're in the TV. You didn't really get in, but you might as well have. I want you to contemplate that. What does that mean? You say, I lost myself in the show. What a beautifully spiritual thing to say. I lost myself in the show. You're sitting on the couch. How do you lose yourself? You lost your sense of self. You lost your center. You lost the core that watches everything else. Now it's just watching the TV. It's not watching the thoughts. It's maybe no thoughts. That's why TV is entertaining. Do you know what you mean by entertainment? It pulls my consciousness off of me. Otherwise, it's not entertaining at all. If you sit there in the theater and just be aware you're in a cold theater with a bunch of noises going on and somebody next to you that's a stranger, it didn't work. It wasn't very entertaining. And you're thinking about your mortgage. What kind of movie is that? Why would you do that? You can do that at home. What you're trying to do is have something in front of you that is distracting enough, entertaining enough to capture your awareness so that now your awareness, like a flashlight, your awareness is now only shining on the movie screen or the TV screen. It's not shining on your thoughts about the mortgage or about what you're going to do with this, that, and the other thing. You got a vacation from yourself. At least you got a vacation from your normal thoughts. It's not shining on your emotions, your normal emotions. And it's not shining on anything else in the room. You don't even know where you're sitting. If you're sitting on the couch watching TV and you're absorbed, we call that absorbed. Look at the words we use. What's absorbed? You're sitting on the couch. You didn't get absorbed. Absorbed. You're gone. You're just sitting there watching the thing. Your consciousness got absorbed, didn't it? It got fixated. It got one-pointed. So now your awareness of being is only aware of that. And you miss everything else. Listen to me, that's what's happening inside of you. Your thoughts and your emotions are like a TV show. They're not you. Says, no more, that TV is not you. I don't care how much it sucked you in. You're sitting on the couch, okay? It has nothing to do with you. It has to do with the fact that consciousness can concentrate its awareness, therefore it is only aware of what it concentrates on. You're always only aware of what you're paying attention of. You're not aware of what you're not paying attention of, are you? So all of a sudden you're paying total attention to just the TV and missing everything else. Your normal state, unfortunately, and I'd like to help you do something about it, is that your mind is creating thoughts, and they are very, very interesting to you. I mean, your thoughts are very interesting. My thoughts wouldn't be interesting at all to you. If I turned the channel and you were watching my thoughts, you go, what's going on? Why does he care about that? And so, but your thoughts are very interesting to you, aren't they? How interesting. Totally fixating. Whatever the thoughts that are coming up in your head are about your past and experiences you've had and things that you liked and things you didn't like. That's where your thoughts come from, isn't it? My thoughts are different than yours because I had different past experiences. Your thoughts are different than hers. Two twins, identical twins, their thoughts are totally different because they're having different experiences. So the experiences that you have become the data that come into your mind, all right? Do you create your thoughts? Do you decide what thoughts you're going to have all the time? Gee, I think I'll worry now. Right? You drive from here to Gainesville, you have no idea what's going on. You don't even see the trees, you don't see the white lines, you don't see how you stop at the traffic lights. I have no idea, nor do you, because you're in your thoughts. And you don't decide what you're going to think. You don't decide what's going to go on. They just pop from one to another. You have this thought, and then you start having that thought. And there's just this mirage of thoughts go on in there. And you are absorbed in those thoughts more than you have ever been absorbed in a TV show. They are very interesting to you. You stare at them. Your thoughts occupy 95% of your consciousness. Your thoughts and your emotions. That's what you're paying attention to. I'll prove it to you in a minute, all right, when you go outside. Yeah, sure, you see the world a little bit, but most of what you see is your thoughts about what you're seeing. I don't want to go over there. No. I wish I had a car like that. Oh, my God. And you just sit there and realize that everything you look at, your mind has something to say about it, doesn't it? And you're very interested in what it says. You're more interested in what your mind says about it than you are about it. If you look at somebody and your mind says, oh, I like him. Oh, I could get along with him. Oh, and your heart starts going like this. That's it. You're gone. And the same person, your mind goes, oh, I don't want anything to do with him. That reminds me of George. I didn't like George. Then you go away. Have I exaggerated one iota? You are totally addicted to the thoughts and emotions that are being created in there where you live. Nobody else sees them. They are not physiological. Your thoughts exist in between the physical plane and where you live, your consciousness. The thoughts get created. Okay. So the net result is you are in there. You are paying attention to your thoughts and your emotions. They are very interesting to you because they are based upon your past experiences. And in general, what you have stored inside, you didn't store everything. How many white lines have you driven by while you drive? How many trees did you pass by driving? How many cars have you ever seen? They're not all stored in there. You don't get through all that. Well, you don't keep all that in there. You see it. It comes in and it passes through. But if somebody honks at you, we get all uptight. You remember that, don't you? You know, drive down that road. Mean people live down that road. So when things happen that disturb you inside, you store it inside. And when things happen that are very, very pleasant, you store it inside. So what you have stored inside your mind are the very pleasant and very unpleasant and different degrees experiences that you've had. Like I said, I haven't had the same ones, so I don't have the same thoughts. And I'm telling you, once you get conscious, really aware, you can notice that all your thoughts are based on that. The fact that you like somebody is based on what mommy did when you were little, or this happened or that happened, or something you saw, or something you heard, or a movie you watched, or a book you read, or a dream you had. Just basically, you're programmed. You're programmed based on these past experiences. And so the mind creates this, and you give total awareness of your being to those thoughts. That's what we call lost in your mind. People are caught in their mind. They're lost in their mind. If you want to know how lost in your mind you are, try to meditate. Just try to sit down for 15 minutes and not watch your thoughts. You can have them, just don't watch them. And you're going to find out you can't do it for 1 minute. You can't do it for 30 seconds. I think I'm doing it. I don't have any thoughts. I did it. No. That was a thought. I am telling you, you're capable of doing it. Of course you're capable of doing it. Just like you're capable of not watching the television. Do I have to turn the TV off to get you not to watch it? No, you just don't watch it. It's like a habit. You just put your consciousness somewhere else. You have the right of putting your consciousness anywhere you want, but you haven't learned that. They haven't taught that to you. They don't even teach you any of this stuff. So basically what ends up happening, the default is as follows. Your mind and your emotions get programmed. They're inside things, mind and emotions. They get programmed based on your past experiences. Now, your consciousness is aware of the world unfolding in front of you, and as it unfolds, it stimulates those past experiences. And so you start thinking, I like it, I don't like it, I want to go here, I wish that wasn't happening, oh my God, I want to leave this party. It's constant barrage of thoughts and emotions are going on inside. You poor thing, your consciousness is in there, you're in there being barraged by these thoughts and emotions, okay? And you don't like it. What you want is peace. You want it to become quiet in there. You want to be able to breathe. You want to be able to have a nice day. Just be comfortable inside. So they say peace is the highest state. You want to be comfortable inside and not have this constant feeling you have to do something. When was the last time you didn't feel like you had to do something? How about never? If you're on the beach enjoying yourself, you're trying to figure out how to enjoy it more because it won't last. Okay? There's this constant tension and anxiety that I have to do something. Why? Because it's not comfortable in there. And the reason it's not comfortable in there is because there are tons and tons of thoughts and emotions that are going on that are being triggered based on your past experiences by what's going on in front of you today. So you're not experiencing what's happening today. You're experiencing your reaction from yesterday. Then when you were formative years and all that junk. You're not experiencing what's happening now. You're in here experiencing your thoughts and emotions about what's happening now, and those are based on your past. So they're like ghosts of the past that are coming up. And you're not okay with that. Because I told you, the stuff you stored tend to be the things you're not comfortable with. And so it doesn't be so comfortable in there, does it? Just check out what it's like first thing you wake up in the morning. Really comfortable? Quiet. Oh, wow, you get to have another day. So peaceful and calm. No, the minute you wake up in the morning, your thoughts start. What'd you do wrong yesterday? What do you have to do today? What can go wrong? Most of the time it's what did I do wrong and what can go wrong. Check it out. And I'm telling you, I'm spilling the beans. There's nothing wrong with you. The reason is because you stored all these past experiences that were not pleasant to you. And you're afraid they're going to happen again. And you feel guilty that you did wrong and they happened, etc., etc. So you end up living in here not comfortably. Very few people are comfortable in there. Do you understand that? So basically you're in here, it's not comfortable, you want to be comfortable. That is the underlying primordial drive of the soul. I want peace. You want to be at peace. You want to feel that harmony. You don't want to have to do anything. You just want to be comfortable in there. But it's not because of all these thoughts and emotions that are stored from the past experiences. And by now it's really complicated in there, isn't it? So what do you do about it? You, same consciousness, talk about your consciousness, the essence of your being, is being barraged because you're caught in these thoughts and emotions. It's like watching Stephen King on TV and freaking out. Just stop watching this stupid thing. He's not real. It's a TV. I can't. I'm so scared. I'm so scared. I have to watch it. That's what's happening, is you're absorbed in it and you don't know how to get out in your thoughts and emotions. Lost in yourself, lost in the personal ego, lost in the personal thing. So basically what ends up happening, long story short, is because it's not comfortable, and I've told you why it's not comfortable. It has nothing to do with the world. It has to do with your reactions from the stored stuff inside. You can't handle how uncomfortable it gets in there when this different stuff comes up. And these different thoughts are problematic and different emotions are problematic. And again, let's get something straight. They're not just problematic because they were negative experiences. We're so weird that we're problematic about our positive experiences. In other words, if something happened before that you really, really liked, you're not okay. You want it to happen again. You're afraid it will go away. If you have it now, how are you going to lose it? I can't lose it. I want. Even positive experiences make you freak out because you're not comfortable in there that they're gone or that they might be gone. We make a mess of everything. Do you understand that? All right? So negative experiences, for sure, we don't want them to happen again. And positive experiences, we want to cling to them and hold to them. And so we make a mess. What do you think jealousy is? You don't get jealous about people you don't care about. And so I swear to God, I guarantee you, somebody you don't even like, you don't care, who cares who they go out with? It doesn't make any difference, right? But if you really like somebody, and you really had a positive experience with somebody, and they're just talking to somebody else, that's a problem. So what's happening is these impressions that are coming in, if they're neutral, they go right through. If they're positive, you cling to them and try to manipulate and control them. And if they're negative, you push them away. You don't want to experience them. So you keep them inside of you. And now what happens is the innocent world just is unfolding and hits all that junk in there constantly, every second. Okay, you don't want it to be like that. You, the indwelling being, want to be at peace. You want to be comfortable. So what you do is you try to control and manipulate the environment inside so that it's comfortable. But you don't know how to do that. Not one of you know how to control your thoughts. Let's say your daughter goes on her first date, and she's supposed to call you at 10. It's 10 past 10. How you doing? How you doing? What's your thoughts saying? Every single thing that possibly could have happened to her is passing through your head, right? Well, just relax, She'll call when she calls, and listen, there's nothing you can do about it. You don't even know where she is. Might as well enjoy yourself till she calls. Fat chance. Because your mind is just going to create this mess for you. So you don't stand a chance of manipulating, controlling the thoughts. You don't know how to not look at the thoughts because they attract you completely. You understand that? If I say, it's okay, yes, your mind will create thoughts about what might have happened to her, just don't pay attention to them. Just watch TV instead. You don't know how to do that. You're addicted to them. So what you do is you go outside and try to control the outside world so that when it comes in, it doesn't stimulate thoughts that bother you. And maybe it stimulates ones that are nice. I almost cried when I was telling you this. Why? It's the saddest thing I ever heard. You have a problem inside because of your past experiences, and you're going to solve it by manipulating and controlling people, places, and things around you so they always behave in a way that when it comes in, it doesn't bother you. How's that working out? How about there's not a chance in the world you're going to succeed at that? And yet that's the only way you hope you'll be okay. That's what we call hope. I hope someday it'll be the way I need it to be so I can be okay. I don't like that hope because it's not going to. The outside world is going about its business. It has nothing to do with you. It's just unfolding everywhere, isn't it? Every single place in the universe is unfolding every moment. What's that got to do with you? Nothing. And you happen to be looking at one part. It's not going to match what you want. Maybe you've noticed that. It's going to be what it is. And you're going to suffer. That's what Buddha taught you. All of life is suffering. That's why. Because you're not comfortable in here. And instead of learning how to become comfortable in there, where you live, you are out here attempting to manipulate people, places, and things so that when they come in, your thoughts and emotions will be better so you can be more comfortable in there, right? And come on, it doesn't work. You've been trying it your whole life. If you've been trying something every single moment for your entire life and you're still doing it, when are you going to catch on it doesn't work? You did it when you were little. You wanted certain toys. You wanted mommy to take you instead of your sister. There's all kinds of stuff you made up inside your head. How you needed things to be for you to be okay. You're still doing it. You still have all these things that you like and dislike, that you want and that you don't want, that you think things need to be a certain way, and if only it gets that way, I'll be okay. You dream up inside your head an alternative universe, an alternative world, you use your mind for that world, if it was that way, on top of the impressions that I store from the past, it'll be a little more comfortable than if somebody treats me exactly the way I want to be treated, gives me space when I need space, but dotes over me when I need to be doted over, and if they love me, they'll know the difference. Of course they will. Come on. Nobody knows what's going on inside of you. Nobody knows, and nobody ever will know. You hardly know. You're so busy trying to manipulate the outside so that when it comes in, it feels better, that you don't even know what's going on in there. So the bottom line is, if you're not careful, you will waste the rest of your life not being okay. You can be okay, period. Doesn't matter how old you are, doesn't matter what you've done, doesn't matter what's happened to you, doesn't matter rich, poor, male, female, young, old, sick, healthy, doesn't matter. Has nothing to do with that. You live inside. You're the consciousness, the awareness of being. You can be comfortable in there, regardless of what is going on outside. because you have nothing to do with the outside. The outside is coming in through your senses. If you close your eyes, is it still going on out there? If you go to sleep, is it still going on out there? Is it still going on across the whole universe without you even knowing it? What's it telling you? That it has nothing to do with you. The trouble is you make it have something to do with you because you've defined how it needs to be. What part? All of it? Do you decide what's supposed to happen on Mars tomorrow? Tomorrow's Saturn. Come on, get busy. There's a whole universe everywhere. Did you decide what's supposed to happen in Timbuktu? No. You only decide what's supposed to happen in front of you. If it's in front of me, this is how it needs to be. No wonder we can't be okay. Well, you're not going to be okay. You're going to struggle with everything. So the alternative is to say, I'm in here. I have a problem. The problem is my thoughts and emotions are not comfortable. And because they're not comfortable, it's driving me outside to try to manipulate the world so that when it comes in, my thoughts and emotions will be more comfortable. Why don't I just get myself together? Why don't I just get myself together? I'm the one in here. I just want to have a very serious sit-down talk with you guys. There's nobody else in there. You've always been the only one in there. They're your thoughts. They're nobody else's thoughts. They're your emotions. They're nobody else's emotions. Why can't it be inside the way you want it to be? And the answer is it can. You just have some work to do. And that, would you want to call that your work on your personal self or call that spiritual work? I don't care. You'll see why it ends up being spiritual work. All I know is it's true that you got some work to do. What is my work? It's a mess in here. I need to make it nice in here. You start by saying the answer is inside. All right? My work is inside. We'll talk about how you deal with the outside in a minute because it's still out there. You have to deal with it. But first you deal with you first. You don't try to use the outside to prop up what's wrong inside because it will betray you every single time. You know, it's funny, we're getting into Christmas, so I keep hearing Christ. Lay ye not up your treasures where moth and dust do corrupt and thieves break in and steal. What's he saying? The answer is not outside. Don't build your house on sand. Don't build what you're trying to do inside to be okay inside on something that keeps changing, on something that has nothing to do with you. Do it based on something that has everything to do with you. You. They're your thoughts and your emotions. So you first start by realizing this devoting my life to trying to create situations outside that will make me be okay is a losing thing from the beginning. Once you're always okay inside, where do you see how beautiful the world is? There's not a problem in the world. There's just challenges and excitement, and you just do your thing. Why? Because you're not trying to be okay based on what's going on outside. That's what's meant by laying up your kingdom. Do you understand that? So basically, you come inside and you realize, first, is it true that I have all these thoughts? Watch. Don't take my word for it. It's called witness consciousness. Don't do anything. Don't try to stop them. Pay attention to what is going on. Don't do anything about it. Don't try to solve it. Don't try to fix it. Just, it's called witness consciousness. And Krishnamurti called it objective observation. That's exactly what it is. Objective observation. Be the witness. Be you. I told you you're in there. You're conscious, right? You are conscious of your thoughts. Be aware that you are conscious of your thoughts. That's what I want you to do. Be aware that you're sitting on the couch watching TV. You can still watch TV, but be aware that you're sitting on the couch watching TV. I don't want you getting sucked into every single thought that pops into your mind. How? Practice. Just like you practice the piano, you practice tennis, you practice calculus. You learn all kinds of things, don't you? So don't tell me I don't know how to do it. I know you don't know how to do it. You've never practiced. So you start by watching. You take inventory. You start by watching. And you're going to freak out. You're going to freak out how negative your thoughts are. You're going to freak out how down on you they are. You know, you can't do this. You've never been able to do this. He won't like, he says he likes you, but he doesn't. He'll turn on you like it. Check it out. Just check it out. How could you possibly be okay with that going on in there? The answer is you can't, and you're not. So you need to work with this. Not, I need to find someone that my mind finally says, oh, this one's an exception. I really do believe they love me, until they talk to somebody else. I knew they didn't. You do not want to rest your head on that garbage. It will betray you every single time. So you just watch it, and then you start doing your work, which is what? If you suppress it and push it away, it's going to come back in spades. It'll blow up in your face, just like suppressing anything else. Go stop the wind. Wait till you see how much pressure you have to put out, and then it'll all blow, right? Dam the water. Dam a stream. You got to work hard to keep it that way, don't you? If you push things away, which is what you do, if you don't like them, you push them away. Let's just start right there. Do you or do you not have hands in there that can push things, hold on and push things away? You want true spiritual teaching? Sit on them inside. You figure it out yourself. But when it's said and done, you don't want that stuff in there. You don't want that stuff in there. If something happens outside that's a little bit disturbing, I'm sorry that it was a little bit disturbing. But I don't want you to store it so that every time you hear about it, it gets disturbing again. Let it go. That's what this is about. You're in here. You've been holding this stuff inside of you. You need to learn to stop doing that. If you store negative things inside of you, what do you expect your thoughts to be? What do you expect your dreams to be? I used to use an example. What if every single time throughout your entire life, when you drove by a stinky smell, skunk, sulfur, eggs, whatever it is, right? You sat there and took out a baggie and captured something, and then went home and dumped it into a room. And then went into the room every day so that you never forgot how bad the smell is. You'd have an upset stomach all the time. You wouldn't even like coming home. It'd be terrible. That's what you did inside yourself. You stored all these bad experiences. You stored every time somebody yelled at you. You stored every time somebody said something that hurt you. Things are going to, there's yin and yang. There's things that are going to happen that are comfortable. Things that happen that are not comfortable. Your starting position is that okay with me? And the answer is yes. Doesn't mean you don't do anything about it. Doesn't mean you don't work with it. We'll get there in a minute. But your starting position with everything that's real, that actually happened, is yes. If it happened, it's reality, and I can handle reality. So what happens is the event takes place. It happened anyways. Somebody yelled at you, somebody did something, somebody didn't do something. So it actually happened, and here's the difference. I can handle reality. It happens, it passes through, now I'm still here. I can now deal with the situation. The alternative is I can't handle it. It came in, it hit my stuff, I got all weird inside, and I can't handle that. Well, if you can't handle that, you can't deal with the situation. Because you're not even dealing with the situation. You're dealing with your inability to handle the situation. So that somebody just yelled at you, not nice, people shouldn't yell at you, I'm sorry they yelled at you, somebody yelled at you, and I can't handle it. I can't handle being yelled at. My mother used to yell at me. My father used to yell at me. My first husband used to yell at me. To get all freaky, I get all scared. Let me tell you right now, whatever that person was yelling about, you didn't even hear it. You have no idea what to do about it because you're too freaked out about what came up inside of you. So now every single thing you're going to do and say is about solving your problem, not solving their problem. I'm not saying they should yell at you. I'm not saying these things should happen. I'm just saying if they do, I would like you to be able to deal with them the absolute best of your ability. You can't if you can't handle them. If you're my son, I'm teaching you to play ball, I hit a grounder at you, you turn your head away and you go like that, you're not going to catch the ball. You'll probably get bonked in the head because you weren't looking. If you keep your eye on the ball, it is less likely it's going to hit your face. If you freak out because the ball might hit your face, it probably will. That's true of getting yelled at. That's true of people behaving in ways you didn't expect. That's true of every single thing. It is exactly the same. Either you are dealing with the situation consciously, that's what's called a conscious being. Everybody's conscious, but that's what they mean by a conscious being, is they are present in the situation instead of lost in their reaction to the situation, their own personal reaction. You are always better off being present, dealing with the current situation, than you are dealing with your freakiness from your past. So you start practicing that. You do it at whatever speed you can do it at. I don't care if you do one tiny little centimeter, micrometer, nanometer a day. Just start going in the right direction. At least you started a journey that will work. So what do? I always use the example. You're parked at the car, the light, you're using your smartphone, you're doing a thing, all of a sudden the light changes, you don't know that, you're using your smartphone, the guy behind you, beeps the horn. How you doing? People, junk going on in there. Okay. Can you handle that situation? Can you handle that situation? You were there, you were looking at your thing, somebody beeped. Is that okay with you? You have to say yes. It doesn't mean your emotions didn't get disturbed. That's not what it means that it's okay with you. Is it okay with you? You who notice that the emotions got scared, that the mind started in about how people are so impatient. All right? Are you okay with the entire sequence? That you were not paying attention, doing your thing, that the light changed, accept all those, that somebody didn't like it and beeped, and that you got weird inside. You're aware of all those things, aren't you? You have to say, that's okay with me. If you want out. Otherwise, you'll have road rage. I don't know what you're going to do. You yell something out the window. Or my favorite is I used to watch him, Mickey, right? That if that happened, and then the next light, the person pulled up next to me, he wouldn't want to look. He wouldn't turn his head. Somebody peeped at you, and you can't look. You're weird, okay? And so what you do is you decide, I'm going to start with these little things. Don't worry about the big things. I'm going to start with these little things. You drop something in your pants, somebody beeps at the light, it rains when you don't want it to, really earth-shattering experiences, right? Somebody doesn't say hello when you call to them. All kinds of things go on, don't they? You're going to find out that every second there's something going on hitting your stuff. And then you start working with yourself. When it happens, you see the junk start happening. And I'm telling you, the technique I have learned that works invariably is you relax. Just relax. Relax. They beeped. This weirdness is happening. I feel guilty. I feel this. I'm mad at him. Whatever it is going on. Just you, the consciousness that's aware. Relax and lean away from the commotion. Don't touch the commotion. In other words, I want you being you. I don't want you being the commotion. I don't even want you reacting to the commotion. I want you to realize, there he goes again, and relax. If you relax, you gave it space to pass. If you get involved, either for or against, you got involved in it and lost yourself in it. So you just relax. You consciously relax. But it feels weird. Yeah, it'll feel weird because it's passing through. Let it pass through. And more, you're going to find out you can do it. There's no reason you can't do it. You're the only one in there, right? It's like stop smoking. You don't have to pick up the cigarette. Stop drinking. You don't have to take the drink. You don't have to react to that stuff going on in there. And by the way, if you don't react to stuff going on in there, you won't have to drink or smoke. That's the reason we get so uptight. That's why we have to do things to release the mess we got going on inside. If you will relax, it will pass. Well, if it doesn't pass, just relax again. I don't care. I don't care, like I said, I don't care if you do a tiny bit each day. At least you're going in the right direction. And I've told you before what's going to happen. And I guarantee it. First, you're going to get all excited. Oh my God, this is so easy. I used to get all upset, and now I'm so much happier, and I'm not fighting with people as much, and so on and so forth. Then, because you're not pushing new stuff down there, and you learn to handle these little everyday things, all of a sudden something from the past is going to come up. Even if there's nothing stimulating. You're driving down the road and all of a sudden something mommy said to you comes up you haven't thought about for years. That's what's supposed to happen. Don't come in, file a complaint department with me. That's what's supposed to happen. The old stuff will start coming up. You weren't able to handle it before, so you kept pushing it down. Now that you've learned to handle things, you're ready for the next course. You did algebra, now you're ready for calculus. So it comes up. It just comes up. Why? Because you're not pushing it down. It's going to come up. It doesn't stay in there. That's why it keeps coming up. Doesn't it keep coming up? All right? Because it doesn't want to be in there. What's supposed to be in there is beauty and love and niceness. But you store this junk in there. If I want to open the windows and the door to the stinky room, it's going to pass into the house, isn't it? And I better let it so that it can finally get its way out and air it out. You need to air this stuff out. So you need to be present while this stuff comes back up. But it hurts, of course. It was stored with pain. It's going to come back with pain. You were not able to handle it when it happened, so you pushed it down. I want to know if you're able to handle it now. If you will practice the way I taught you to with the smaller things, the low-hanging fruit, you will become good at it until eventually that's all you do for the rest of your life is let go of what's coming up. You become a letting go machine. And everything is just passing through, and things that used to bother you are passing through, and all of a sudden, very little bothers you, because there's very little in there. And at some point, that act of relaxing and releasing and letting the energy go, letting it pass, changes the entire direction of the flow of your life. It starts flowing up instead of out, down and out. It flows up and in instead of down and out. Now you go down and out to manipulate the world because you can't handle yourself. When you can handle yourself, all the energies start to rise up. And it's this rush of holy waters. It's truly, literally, constant waves of joy, of love, of bliss, of ecstasy, waving up inside of you. It used to be garbage because you stored it down there that way. When you let that go, you're going to see there's a river of joy that flows inside of you. That's what all of spirituality is about. And you're going to find out then that you're fine. How would you like it to be nice in there? How would you like it if they left you alone and everybody left and you sat down for a minute, you sat down in ecstasy every time? How would you like you wake up in the morning that these waves of joy woke up before you did? And that's what you wake up to, not your thoughts. The Beatles, I awake to the sound of music. You awake to the flow of spirit. You awake to the flow of joy welling up inside of you. And that's how you go to sleep too. And it becomes nice in there. And that niceness is independent of what's going on outside. Now you say, but what about the outside? It takes me 1 second to talk about the outside. Now that you're okay, you don't need the outside to be a certain way. So you don't have to fight with it anymore. It's not the reason you're okay. You're okay because you're okay. You're okay because it's beautiful in there. And all of a sudden, the world's going to unfold in front of you. It doesn't stop. It will fold in front of you. And you ask it a different question. Right now, you ask it, why won't you be the way I want? Be this way, be that way. You don't do it anymore. You're too high. You're feeling too good. It's too nice. You're already okay. You ask it, how can I help? You're already filled with joy and love. How can I help? How can I give? Make me an instrument of thy peace. Where there's sickness, let me bring health. Where there's sadness, let me bring joy. Where there's sorrow, let me bring comfort. St. Francis, wasn't it? That's what happens to you. And what you will do is you become a blessing to everyone and everything in your life. Because you're not a taker anymore. You're a giver. But you don't know you're giving. You don't need anything. If I don't need anything, if I got tons of water, I live in a place like Lake Michigan with fresh water, and somebody's thirsty, take a drink. Oh, thank you so much. What are you thanking me for? Right? You don't even know you're giving. It's just the natural state because you don't need anything. That's the only person who can give, someone who doesn't need anything. Well, and you're filled with love, so you don't have to take love. Well, about relationships. You are in relationships because they're there, and you have love, and you share it. Your whole life becomes beautiful, and it will be beautiful from that moment forward. And you just realize, I'm never going to store anything here ever again. I'm just going to let go. Yes, the world unfolds, and sometimes good things, sometimes not nice things. As long as it doesn't change my inner state, I'm fine. And it's amazing. You become a blessing to everybody. It spreads. Your light spreads all over the place. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to teach. You don't have to do anything. So that's what it means to understand consciousness. And eventually you will go where the great yogis went. Because you no longer need anything, and I want you to understand that, because you no longer need anything. Maslow talked about the hierarchy of needs. They talked about self-actualization and peak experiences. You should be having peak experiences every single second of your life. That's how much joy is inside of you. And so now basically your consciousness doesn't need to be absorbed in your thoughts. In fact, you stop having those kind of thoughts. Because now all your thoughts are about what do I want, what do I not want, how do I get it, and how do I avoid it. Check them out. That's the category all your thoughts are in. What do I want? What do I not want? How do I get it? How do I avoid it? Well, when you don't have those needs anymore, it drops away. And now because it drops away, you don't get absorbed in it. And then all of a sudden you will naturally find that you're aware, that you're aware, that you're aware that you're in there. Your consciousness does not leave the seat of consciousness. When I turn the TV off, you know you're on the couch. How hard was that? How hard is it to get back on the couch when I turn the TV off? That's why they say enlightenment is that. The moment you are done with yourself, your personal self, all this garbage, you will know who you are. And who you are is a very, very great thing. You in there, the consciousness I talked about. Very, very great thing. Christ said, my Father and I are one. That's what all the yogis taught. That your consciousness, man was created in the image of God. Doesn't mean God's got 2 arms and 2 legs. Consciousness is everything. And that which you are is that which is the beginning and end of the universe. And it's one. There's in the Gospel of John, I look it up once in a while. I wish I could read it. I don't read the Bible, but I like to find things that support all this. Toward the end of the Gospel of John, which was the mystical gospel, he says Christ was praying. And the prayer is like this. Oh, may they know the oneness in thee as I have known the oneness. May they know the magic of oneness, me and them and me and you. He uses the word oneness about 30 times. You know what the yoga means? Union. It's a Sanskrit word that means union, oneness. That merger of the individual consciousness with the supreme consciousness. That's where great masters went. That's where Buddha went. That's where Christ went. So it goes all the way from not suffering to full enlightenment, to the highest states. But it's all about you deciding, this is my house in here. It's nobody else's. I'm not going to give anybody else control of my house. I want it to be nice in here. Start cleaning up in there. All right. Very good. Jai Guru.